So today we'll be taking a look at another Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss theory, Bayley's comments, and what's going on with Zelina Vega. Let's start things off with Bayley's comments about Becky Lynch's WWE return. Bayley and Becky Lynch have crossed paths with each other a few times in WWE. But like Bayley mentioned in these comments that we're about to go over, it's been a while since they last crossed paths. The last time anything was truly done between Bayley and Becky was back when Bayley attacked Becky for her big heel turning moment in the end of 2019. So it's going on almost 2 years of Bayley and Becky Lynch not working together. Bayley recently spoke with Sportskeeda and opened up about Becky Lynch's return. Bayley's response was sort of in half character and half out of character. She had this to say when talking about how fans thought Becky Lynch would interrupt her at WrestleMania. I think it's just wishful thinking, and I think it's just people ready to see Becky back and ready to see me get my butt kicked, I guess. But that's not going to happen because she didn't come back, suckers. I mean, I'm sure it'll happen sometime. We both have some time left here, and we both still have a lot of things we want to do. I'm sure she has a list of things she wants to do, and the last time I think we were in the ring together may have been when I beat her up with a chair, maybe a few times after that. But I'm sure she's ready to get her hands on me, and I'll be ready because I've been doing a lot since she's been gone. This is consistent Bayley right here. No time off for me. I've been making moves, Becky Lynch. So Bayley seems ready for Becky Lynch if Becky decides to return to SmackDown. Which brand Becky returns to has been up in the air and speculated about for a while now. Originally, everyone just simply assumed Becky will go back to SmackDown because her husband, Seth Rollins, was there. But look at Raw's status right now, and they can use as much star power as they can get. Tons of rumors and reports going around that they're reportedly looking to freshen up things on Raw. We even had a poll recently which asked fans to pick between Raw and SmackDown, and it was an absolute wipeout win for SmackDown, with 80% of the votes to Raw's 20%. So a majority of fans are all on the same page when it comes to Raw and SmackDown debate. SmackDown seems to be levels ahead of Raw right now, to the point that it's just a complete mismatch. So that seems to be why they're considering bringing some fresh faces to Raw. So with that report in mind, it definitely seems like the possibility for Becky Lynch to go back to Raw is back on the table because they're struggling and need her more than SmackDown does. SmackDown already has a big three of Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. They also have Carmella there, Mia Yim is on her way, and everyone else that's there. Raw, on the other hand, has Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Charlotte, and Alexa Bliss. That's basically the entire singles division for the women on Raw. So if Becky comes back to Raw with her entire I never lost the title story, then it could provide some fresh matchups, depending on who's the champion at the time of her return. As far as a timetable for Becky Lynch's return, there's still no solid word on that just yet. But the popular guess amongst the fans is around summer or fall time. But we'll see how that turns out. What are your thoughts on what Bayley had to say about Becky Lynch? Could Zelina Vega be on her way back to WWE? Zelina Vega has been the popular topic of discussion this week after she was reportedly spotted in the Performance Center. The reason why this was such big news is because Zelina is just coming off a pretty controversial exit from WWE that took place last fall. Zelina and WWE apparently had a dispute about the third-party platform rules. WWE looked at Zelina's action as a breach in her contract, and that led to her sudden release. Zelina explained how she even showed up to the Thunderdome, thinking everything was fine. And that's when she got the news and wasn't even allowed to speak with Vince McMahon in that moment. It was a big release that just shocked everyone. Her husband, Aleister Black, was still with WWE after Zelina's release, and everyone was sort of looking at him, wondering what his next move was going to be. Obviously, Aleister Black ended up staying, and we're even starting to see teasers and backstory for his new tweaked persona. But what's more interesting at this current moment is Zelina Vega's status. Is she returning to WWE? Nothing has been confirmed by either WWE or Zelina herself, but all the reports seem to be hinting at the fact that it's a full go. She's actually returning to WWE. Of course, the reports have been wrong before, so you can't truly take their word on things. But with those reports and Zelina legitimately being spotted at the WWE Performance Center, there's a strong positive feeling about her return. Reports also claim that Zelina would be coming back to the main roster instead of going through NXT again. Another interesting idea that would be great to see is, of course, pairing Zelina and Aleister Black together. Zelina is obviously extremely gifted and one of the best when it comes to the manager and speaking roles, so imagine the chemistry she would have on screen with her actual husband. That's a real interesting theory right there. What better way to bring them both back than to pair them together for their returns? We'll see what happens there, but things seem to be looking great for Zelina Vega and her WWE return. Lastly, we have the theory on another way that Bray Wyatt can retaliate against Alexa Bliss. What's Alexa Bliss doing right now? Well, she's terrifying the Raw roster with this haunted doll that we're all patiently waiting to see come to life. But what did Bray Wyatt have for a few short weeks back in 2019 during a feud with The Miz? Bray Wyatt also had a scary and haunted doll. This doll was known to fans as the Liv Morgan doll because everyone still thought that Liv Morgan could be connected to the Firefly Funhouse back then. So everyone looked at the pink strands of hair and the dress on the doll as a sign that it could relate to Liv Morgan at the time. Bray Wyatt would end up using that scary doll by having his puppets give the doll to The Miz's daughter to play with. The Miz would eventually walk into his daughter's room to catch her playing with this scary Bray Wyatt-inspired doll. Bray Wyatt would also bring that doll back to the Funhouse the following week, but it was never seen again. Now, we have all this madness going on with Alexa Bliss and her doll, Lilly. Everyone expects Lilly to come to life and be either portrayed by Alexa Bliss herself or someone else. So judging off that idea right there, why can't Bray Wyatt do something similar with the old Liv Morgan doll? Bray's doll didn't do much of anything and hasn't been seen since 2019. But the important thing is that it was introduced before Lilly was. So they can go back and revisit that old Bray Wyatt doll. Give it some importance, and everyone will recall that Bray did have that doll long before Alexa and Lilly came along. The problem with Bray Wyatt vs. Alexa Bliss that a lot of fans mentioned is that, oh, it's an intergender match, so you can't really have this crazy feud and match between them. Sure, that may be true, but what if Bray Wyatt can bring his doll to life as well to face off against Lilly? It does sound pretty ridiculous talking about these haunted dolls coming to life and fighting each other in WWE, but that's just where we're at right now with this story. If Bray Wyatt wants to get back at Alexa Bliss, then you probably have to beat her at her own game. Bring your doll to life, have it be portrayed by another woman from the roster, and have them face off against Alexa Bliss. We'll still be able to get all the back and forth promos between Alexa and Bray, but when it comes down to the match, Lilly will face off against whatever friend Bray Wyatt wants to throw at Alexa Bliss. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.